6B. I'm going to spend a little more time on this one because I want you to see something. So here is the British pound, and you can see the amazing cyclicality in here and how this rising phase is coming almost exactly as it's supposed to. And the pattern suggested based on this bullishly configured cycle, right-hand translation. If you don't understand that, please look at our glossary that's in our cycle analysis workshop, and you'll learn a ton. So this is the pointing up here again in towards late November, where we think the dollar will continue to move down, and then the dollar reverses and has a rally, and this then does pull back. So we're timing the dollar correlations with this also, and that looks like we're going to get a move to the upside still. We'll look for a test of that 135.5 area in the British pound. Here are the shorter term cyclical patterns that you can see right in here. I have those stars showing you where the dominant cycles actually bottom. And we're now in this rising portion of the minor third right in here. So that's the same thing as the second minor third right here, the same thing as the second minor third right over here. But this one was a lot weaker, you can see, and then you never did get above that level. This one is stronger, so we expect that we're going to get the test up above this level. So now with this move up to the top here, I can actually raise the projection up to that last high right over there, and that's I think a more likely scenario that we see right like that. So just do little updates in here when the market tells us to do so, because the probabilities change. You know, we get up to the top of that 618 resistance, and it says it's pretty likely it's going to test this high, 134.75, something like that. In this rising phase right here, it probably comes in the third minor third. And let's see what happened in here. The third minor third gave you nothing because you had that big decline. So it's gonna, with the dollar really weak now, I don't think that's really going to happen. So this is a closer look at that right there, rallying up to the top of that resistance area, and I think likely to get through it for the British pound. Now let's go back here again to the weekly for a second. You see this bullishly configured pattern, the likelihood of getting back up to that high, right close to 135. I actually do not believe that the British pound is going to do better than that at all. As a matter of fact, I think that the scenario for the British pound moving out in coming years is pretty bad. Why do I say that? I mean, what information do I have? Well, I only have one piece of information, and it's right over here. And this is a phenomenally interesting chart that you're looking at right here. I want to give credit to a member of mine who I don't think is still a member of mine, John M., who showed this chart to me well over a year ago. It might be a year and a half ago. Now instead of, I show you the 6B, which is the futures, this is the cash index of the British pound versus the dollar, GBP versus US dollar, Great British Pound, and the Great Britain Pound, and it shows you phenomenal cyclicality that you see in here. Now this goes back to 1985 that we're looking at. So we're looking at 35 years of cyclicality in here, and amazing show of money flow in the relationship to the dollar. So while the dollar has gotten absolutely hammered through actions of the Fed, the British pound's been worse, which is an amazing thing to say when you look at this. Now let's break this down so that you can see what's going on. You can see the kilo here of the multiple time frames. So there's actually 3 cycles that make a bottom right over here. It's the smaller cycle, I don't have the lines drawn in, but you have 3 cycles. Here you have 1, 2, 3, so it's this minor cycle here, the minor quarter, the half cycle right in here, and the dominant cycle all bottoming here. When that happens, that's that you get the big declines. So you can see in here you have a bullish pattern. In other words, the first half of this, which goes for about 5 years, is bullish, and then you get a test of the high. very clear. The first half of this for about 4.5 years, and then you get a test or past the highs. Bullishly configured right over here, all of that where you get make a new high in the second half. So second half right-hand translation, second half slight right-hand translation, second half slight right-hand translation. All of that tells you that, well, the markets were, still in decent shape. Now it all collapsed. And this is your structure in here, which points to the dominant cycle, the half cycle, which bottomed right over here a little bit early in the panic in March, and the minor cycles, all now pointing down, because this first half is now pointing down. None of the previous cycles that I showed you here over 35 years have this kind of a negative configuration. As you can see, I'm just going to show you these three right in here. They're all positive when I look at that. When I look at this one over here, it is negative. I'm just going to go further out so that you can see. I'm going to change the right settings to 50 months just so I can get further out. And you can see that this nesting comes in here. When is that? That is in March, April, May of 2024. So what it says is that over these next 4 years, this is already committed to the downside. So the British pound has got a lot of bad trading coming over these next several years. So the rally that we're in the market, see this engulfing right over here? See this dark cloud cover? So the dark cloud cover made a huge top. This engulfing is likely making a huge top. Here's a dark cloud cover, made the huge top. And engulfing on a monthly is a really rare pattern. So that says to me the British pound already made the high in these monthly resistance zone right over here, and that the rally that we're in right now, which probably gets you up to this 134.50 area or close to test the highs, will likely abort and then begin to move down. So that shows you the amazing cyclicality, or the visual way that you could see flow of money in here, and how to use these cycle patterns to tell you that, well, the British pound's in a lot of trouble going out in coming years. And as much as we've been positive for some intermediate term moves and been right on that, that's all been within the context of a damaged looking currency that we see right over here. And their national debt is just phenomenally huge. And that, that means that they're going to have maybe a lot more trouble than the US. And also the fact that their trade deals and the Brexit might take them years to recover from. So I wanted to show you, I thought that was really important. This is really key. Level 4 members, you can ask me for this chart and I'll be glad to send it to you. So that's a look at the monthly and this rally that we have here in the British pound. You can see why we think it'll only get up and test that level at best, and then begin to move down again in this period of dollar weakness that we see. In the period of dollar strength that we see starting in December, the British pound could do pretty poorly, actually.